Very good afternoon, good morning to South America, and a good evening to all those watching the weekly worldwide DATV Net. I'm ZS6YI, coming from near Johannesburg in a place called Three Rivers. We have a long net today, a long list rather, so I'll keep things short. I just want to thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to have our amateur satellite on their satellite together with it in the same orbit, same shell, and using the same power supplies. We also wish to thank AMSAT DL, AMSAT UK, and the BATC for the sterling work they have done and still do to help us with the amateur TV satellite, which has enabled many stations around the world to contact each other, especially around Africa, Europe, and of course a little bit of South America. We did link up with Australia and America the other day, and that was really great fun. But that was our satellite linking up with their terrestrial repeaters. Right, today's list is ZS1 Mike to follow, Leon in the southern part of the Cape, called Worcester, South Africa, and then up to G8KOE Martin in the UK, then to Nick G4IMO in the UK, and then to Paul OE8PCK, he's in Austria, and then back to the UK, Mike 0PIT Phil, nice to see you back on, Phil. Then to the Netherlands, to Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray Benno, and down to South Africa, to Pretoria, ZS6 Golf Echo Frank, and then back to the UK, G8PQH Frank as well, and perhaps Mike, G0 Mike Juliet Whiskey. He might be able to come up. He's busy with an AMSAT UK meeting right now at 2 o'clock, so he might come up, but failing which, G6HFS, Brian. Hello, Brian, saw you just now, excellent signal. So, with no further ado, let's see. Leon, are you on frequency? ZS1 Mexico from ZS6 Yankee India.
Okay, yes, I'm here, Gary. ZS6 Yankee India and the group, ZS1 Mike, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody on the net. I just see now that I I actually missed Frank G8PQH, so we have 12 participants today, which is very good. Yes, signals look good throughout the ones that I have seen. I'm busy here on a digital burette, working on it, and I was listening with half an ear as people were testing. Not much otherwise going on here, Gary. I did play with our new cameras last night, and I must say, yes, it's quite sensitive. It needs very little light. I tried it with a standard lens, not with the close-up lens. And yes, I'm really impressed with that thing. Otherwise, no work. Work is interfering with my retirement. Really, I have very little time. A weekend is like half a day long, where I'm really free to do what I like. So yes, I built another lithium pack for my B25 military radio. I fitted that last night. Well, yesterday afternoon already I started working on it and charged it up, and everything's working fine. But now the radio is not nice. On 12 volts it was working fine, just off a power supply, but now it's getting its proper 16 volts that it should have. And it sounds like the final is not biased at all. It's very crackly when you transmit. The reception is excellent, no problem there. But the transmission, something is not linear there. Or in the audio stage of the transmitter, I don't know. I'll have to start tracing on that thing. What went wrong when it's now got its full voltage? The original battery pack was, I think, 15.6 volts or something. A whole bunch of D-type NiCads. Now I have 5 lithium iron phosphate cells in there, which have more capacity and take up half the space, and they last much longer. But anyway, I'll have to look into that, but no time for that now. Okay, I don't know if I'll be around for a second round, but I see Phil is there. Phil, I wonder whether you've gotten to your bat receiver yet. You can just tell us. Okay, Martin, over to you. G8 KOE for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Right, let's just make sure we got a bit of sound, and I'll turn it down. He says, quickly trying to hope for yes. Have I got sound? Yep, there's some sound there. Yeah, I had a complaint emailed to me from Rob, VK3 India Echo. So I'm doing my best this time to not mumble and keep the audio high. I've got a nasty habit of sort of thinking what I'm doing and then going into mumble mode. So apologies to Rob there. So we'll try and do better this week. Got the microphone even a bit closer. What else was I going to mention? I'm going to have a sort of go through my All-Star node that I've got running here. And just one thing I will mention with the 47572 that I've got running. If someone wants to connect to it, more than happy, but please disconnect from something else that you're already connected to with All-Star. Otherwise, you drag loads across with you that shouldn't be or don't want to be connected to it. So disconnect always before you reconnect with All-Star. So I had a station that had connected and dragged a load of other links across. I wonder why there was sort of some funny bits and pieces coming through. The other thing I had was Nigel 2E0EHH sent his node to me, which is one of the Shari copies, and I've set that up for him. So that'll be in the post to him on Monday. So hopefully he will join the net on All-Star on 47572. I keep pushing it, don't I? Right, let's see whether we can change cameras. That's my node that's normally sitting in the garage, but I dragged it in from the garage, as I think some people are sort of having problems building, etc. So I just thought I'd show mine. The high level of construction that it's not. I built this actually ages ago. But we'll go to the buck converter, which is worth looking at. I fitted that little coil and a capacitor. If you actually monitor the output from the buck converter, it's got nasty spikes on it, and that cleans it up a treat. 47 mics, whatever you've got to a certain extent, but and depending what little coil you've got available or choke or whatever, then worth going for. But can thoroughly recommend that. This one is powered by the GPIO pins. The only sort of disadvantage there, which I had on my other one that I had, is that if things go wrong, then there's no protection on the Raspberry Pi. Over here's my sound fob, which I'll show some closer pictures in a minute, but handful of resistors, 3 resistors there, and it wanders off. But the thing that I will point out with this one is on the COS line. I'll show it a bit closer on something else in a minute. Where the COS line comes out, it goes through a diode. But we'll mention a bit more about that. And my PTT, there's a transistor there that's fed straight from the sound fob and the appropriate things. I'm not going to go into too much on it, but let's go over to some pictures which usually will show a lot more. He says, making sure that he's still talking into the microphone. Right, let's open this one up, and they're not in a particularly good order, but as you can see from there, on the right hand end is actually where the line comes off from the chip underneath, which is a standard mod, and then there's a diode in there on the left of that, and I think you can just see the black band on the end. Okay, any little diode will do. It stops the there can be some confusion between the voltage levels that change on the actual radio itself and on the sound fob. It stops some confusion happening there. So I don't know that a lot of the mods I've seen include a diode, but it can be very useful. Just something to mention. He says, let's go to another picture. There's my sound fob with the resistor values. Obviously the mic input, so that white wire, we'll see where that comes from in a minute. And the transmit side that just goes through the one resistor onto the 888. So the white wire down, and the transmit wire. It's not very well done, really. Now, an important thing, which isn't a very nice link, is a good link between the actual 888 and a good screening point on the Raspberry Pi. This link was originally done by G7RPG, and he's the one that passed the information on to me. And it can make a lot of difference between the buck converter noise that you get on the supply lines, etc. So that's certainly worth doing. That's another close-up of the sound fob. Not too much to modify on it if you don't want to, other than taking that one. I just took the sockets off and connected a couple of wires to it. Didn't do any other clever bits and pieces. You know, the transistor for the PTT is connected right up on top of the there we go. I didn't know I'd done a close-up, but that's the filter that I put the output of the buck converter, which if you stick a scope on the buck converter and look what you've got there, you've got some really nasty spikes. That will remove those quite considerably. That's the transistor on the PTT, the buttons for the PTT on the left. I think this one the buttons went 40, so I took them off, and there's just a transistor which is just some volts to the base to turn it on, and that's the aerial on the right hand side. It's a mess, this one, really. I keep meaning I should tidy it up. I think that's all the pictures that I got there, but it works, and it always sits in the garage. So that node is my garage node. That's repaired sort of side of things. The other node that I'm using is obviously my radioless node, which is that one over there, which is just a sound fob fed into the speakers there and fed off to an electric mic, which I've manufactured this really high quality case. I don't have a printer to print up some nice sort of cases, but it's just a large electric mic in there, and that seems to work quite well. And the other node, which is the Shari one copy, is over here. But I'd quite like to, but I can't justify getting one, would be to get the one of the kits. Let's go back to the center screen from Kits for Hams, who I think originally designed the Shari, etc. They do lots of nodes, all sorts of different kits, etc. already built. I'll put the link in on the chat. It says that you can go whichever way you want. Another thing that I've been playing with regards to is all my version 3, which this is, and thanks to I was having problems with connecting one node to another node, because I'd opened up the appropriate ports, but I hadn't realised that in the firewall, if you look at it in this particular application, the IX2, it's 4560 to 4580 by default, and I'd set my port as one port out of that range and wonder why it didn't work. And it's Phil who came across and pointed that out to me. So if you're having problems that you can't get someone to connect to your node if you're using the V3 software, that may be the problem. Check that the port you've chosen is in the range of the firewall on the Pi that you're running the system on. I'd opened up the ports all in the router, etc., but not where I needed to. Right, that's probably a long waffle. I hope everyone hasn't gone to sleep, but keep pushing All Star as a talkback channel, and it's very useful. I know Benno doesn't think so, but it has its uses. And I've got IXRPT, which works on my normal nodes, and also DV Switch, which you can run on your phone and link back to your node. At the moment, we've got a couple of. Oh, there's. He says, let's go over to not that one. Not that one. I don't want. I want. No, I don't think I've got the node set up here. Let's access it, shall we? 47572. That's it. XRPT web transceiver client. Oh, I don't know anything about that one. I know of it, but I've never played with it. And I will see if we go to the bubble chart. And eventually, let's amplify it up a little bit. That's who's connected to me at the moment. So we've got Mike, and so it's good. JIPK, not in database. And Radio Billy, etc., etc. So anyway, I'm pushing that. Hopefully it'll grow a little bit more. Right, let's go back to my I obviously just looked and I wasn't displaying it, was I? I hadn't switched over. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's go back and I've got too many things opened up here. I know why I can't see what I'm doing, because I've opened things up. Let's go back to the centre. Apologies that for not getting it right, but that's who's connected to the node now. Yeah, I need an operator, but hopefully I haven't gone into too much waffle mode. There you go. So I was just keyed up. SM0 MJW just keyed up then. But anyway, all good fun. Right, that's me making a right mess of things. So we're passing on to who's next? It's Nick G4IMO. So apologies for the long waffle. I'll put a test card up and it's all yours from G8KOE.
Yeah, okay, Martin. I haven't fallen asleep. I'm still here. Yeah, okay, Martin. Turn that volume down. Where's my camera? Here we go. Right. I think it's working. Right. Hang on, let me just check that. Right. Yep. Yeah, good afternoon to everybody, or good morning, or wherever you are. Apologies for last week. My audio. It was this very cheap USB microphone that I bought off eBay. There's something not quite right inside here. It looks like this end piece is stuck on there with super glue or something, because I can't remove the end piece. So it looks like it's going to be a throwaway item. So I'm using the the microphone on the C920 today. So apologies if it's not up to my usual standard. Last week I mentioned to Leon that I was trying to locate this underground copper pipe, and I can report success. I got my my signal generator out on very long leads, connected one lead to one end of the pipe and the other lead to the opposite end of the pipe, and I set the generator to 190 kilohertz, sort of the low end of long wave. And the reason I'd done that was because I was going to use this. I remembered I had this machine here, this Euro Marine Radio Fix Navigator, which is really just a long wave receiver with a ferrite rod which runs down it. So you point it at the signal, and when you're pointing at the signal, you've got a null. Off to one side you've got signal, and off to the other side you've got signal. But where the actual signal is radiating, you've got a null. So if that's the copper pipe, you can find exactly where it is. So by orientating it like that and pointing it down at the ground, I was able to locate it. So so that's now sorted. But the reason I needed to find out where it was is because between the oil tank and the property there's a wooden fence, and the fence posts have rotted away, so I need to replace those, and I need to make a large hole, and I didn't want to go through the pipe. So but anyway, having successfully located it, it solved that problem. Anyway, the other thing, I've been for ages, I've been looking around for one of these heavy duty pan and tilt heads. I looked at quite a few of the rallies last year, but I couldn't find anything. Occasionally you see them on eBay, but they're normally collection only, because they're very heavy. But there was one on there last week where the seller was offering to post it. So I made an offer on that, and I was successful. So courtesy of our wonderful Royal Mail, this is how it arrived. It would appear that they managed to drop it. You see that there's some screws coming out the edge of the side of the cardboard there. It wasn't particularly well packed, but the problem is the metal support bracket where it goes onto the side there was all twisted where they dropped it. Initially I thought the shaft was bent, but it wasn't. It's just, so I straightened out the bracket and the support. That was the support which is on the side of it. That's the bracket. The two vertical pieces of the bracket there, that they weren't at 90 degrees. So after quite a lot of hammering and swearing, I managed to get them back to position again, 90 degrees. That's the inside of it. I'm just checking the functionality of the micro switches, just to make sure it's all working, and working out how to fit the potentiometers. Occasionally you see them on eBay with the potentiometers already on there, but they're quite rare to see. But unfortunately, I have the operating manual for this thing, and it shows where the potentiometers are. So that'll be the project for next week. Okay. Oh, I didn't say, by the way, when I contacted the seller and I said, oh, that the Royal Mail had managed to drop this thing, the seller was very helpful. Actually, he said, well, not to worry. He had another one. Well, the one I'd ordered was a 240 volt AC one, and he had a 24 volt AC one. And I said, well, I didn't really want all the hassle of having to pack all this thing up and return it. He said, oh no, there isn't any need to return it. I can hang on to it. He said, if I can repair it, I can hang on to it for spares or whatever. So anyway, so he sent me a 24 volt one as well. So I've got two for the price of one. And because I'd ordered a 240 volt one, and the replacement that he'd sent is a 24 volt one, he also sent the appropriate transformer as well. So all in all, that worked out very well. So I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, that's enough waffle from me. I'll put it round to where am I going? Austria. Round to you, Paul. OE8. Can't read my writing. OE8, yes, Papa Charlie Kilo, G4 IMO.
So, quick sound check. Oh, okay, it's working. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. And yes, I hope it's working okay. First of all, I want to thank Martin for his never-ending patience with me, trying to get Node Red running, but unfortunately it didn't work. But never mind, Martin. I'm expecting Simon's software soon, and all I'm going to need is a Pluto and the dish and a PA, and I hope to be on the air. He's already sent out some videos on YouTube how it's working, so it looks very good. And this morning we had a chat, and he's expecting to get the full package out by the next year, I think around about Easter time at the latest. And it's working all very well by the look of it. So I'm going to be put out of my misery. It wasn't a very good week. I've got this working here, so I'm not touching anything, and I've got a parallel system running on a Windows 11, and I can get the video, but I can't get any sound out at the moment. But let me see now. Let me get this right. GU6EFB, Keith, he sent me some information which might get me working with the sound, so that should be okay. But as I said, Martin, sorry I got on your nerves, I'm sure I did, but at least we tried, and yeah, I can see that Node-RED is interesting, but it's not really for me. Anyway, apart from that, what else have I been doing? Not really very much. We had to do a lot of grandparent stuff this week, looking after grandchildren, that sort of thing, so the amateur radio was a bit short. Anyway, I won't keep it too long. Who gets it next? Ed? Ed, microphone to you. Hola. And look forward to hearing from you. And I'm just going to drop the carrier.
special price.
Only for today, €2.
Oh, leuk, ja, doen we. Ja?
Okay, thank you, lady.
Go.
Say adios!
Adios!
Okay, hi guys, greetings, hello. I hope my audio is okay. Yeah, seems okay. Let me mute myself. Long net, so short transmission. Glad to see you all. Hope everything okay with you. Very nice informations from everybody so far. I just would like to take the opportunity that Mike is here on the net today. Golf Zero Mike Juliet Whiskey, if you're still there. Mike, I have a question for you regarding, I remember, I don't know, some time ago you mentioned about the Libri SDR, you know, a new version of Pluto, that you got one. I just would like to know if you did some experience or, you know, what's your impression on those. I really would like to know. And I have a friend of mine that PY2 UGO, he bought one of those as well, and I'm talking about this one, guys. And he bought one of these, and he's trying to pull out the PTT signal from that, and he was not able to find any GPIO pins. So just wondering if you got to know anything about how to control external PTT on those Libri SDR. Besides of that, nothing much going on. HF propagation very poor. 6 meters occasionally is opening to West Europe, going up to maybe East Europe, but not every night. It's been very unstable on 6 meters. That's all. Okay, guys. So let me see who's the next on the list. I think it's gonna be Phil, Mike Zero Papa India Tango. So Phil, I pass to you. Mike Zero Papa India Tango from Papa Yankee to Romeo November.
Hi guys. Not sure I've got some audio. Should have audio. Yeah, I got some audio. Oh, right. What's been happening? Oh, lots and lots have been happening. Not good. But first things first. Leon, back detector. It was a project that I was thinking about. So I didn't have at the time any other projects to get involved with, and that was quite some time ago. The thing was, kitchen came along, so I've spent 8 weeks with Frank the builder working on the kitchen, and everything else, literally everything, was put on the back burner. And to be quite honest, I forgot about the back detector. So when I've got some more time, I shall definitely start on it. But at the moment, I haven't touched it or even really looked at it, purely because of the work on the kitchen. Yesterday, I turned my TX PC on, because my setup here, I've got a a receive PC and a TX PC. Turned the TX PC on and it was dead. I'm not going to bore you with what I actually ended up doing, but effectively what's happened is that the motherboard has failed. No video coming out of it, so I can't get into the BIOS. I did try to load a new BIOS onto it, because apparently there is a way you can do it with a USB stick or a DVD. I tried both of those and neither of them were accessed, so the motherboard's trashed. So I've ordered a new motherboard, higher spec, and some memory for the new board, and a processor for the new board. So it won't be a super duper all singing all dancing machine. As I run Linux, I don't really see the need of spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds or even thousands of pounds on a PC. But as I say, all my stuff is Linux. The nice thing is that even though this machine is trashed, it's got at least 2 hard drives in there. One hard drive is the operating system. The other hard drive is basically it's all my user data. So I can pull all that off. I don't have to worry about backups or anything like that, because all the user data is on the second hard drive. So hopefully middle of the week I should get a new board and I should build it, build the PC and transfer all the data over. Hopefully then I'll be back. What I'm using at the moment is an old PC that I was playing around with to get 266 working. I knew that it wouldn't be powerful enough, but I just needed to understand how to compile FFmpeg for 266, which is quite a process. But anyhow, that's what I used it for. And the outcome was that when I decided to try this machine, I'd forgotten what I had done, and basically it had all been set up. So it had a OBS on it and FFmpeg, etc., etc. And it was just a case of plugging it in and plug and play, and off it went. But it is Steam driven. There's no way I can run a video. This is about its top with a camera. So that's the saga of my PC. What else did I do? I've got an Icon 7300 along with lots of other people. And as I found out recently, there is a battery in it, and that battery just controls the clock, funnily enough. But it's a tiny little lithium cell, tiny little thing, and it's soldered to the board. So every Icon 7300 has got a battery in it that is running down when it's being used. And the only way that you can replace the battery is basically open up the case and desolder it from the main board. And it's not easy to desolder. I mean, I've got lots of kit here, soldering irons, etc. And the thing is, it needs a lot of heat to be able to desolder it from the board. If you don't have a lot of heat on it, you're going to pull the tracks up. Luckily enough, I've got the tools to be able to do it, and the battery came off. And what I've done is I've put a button cell, is it 2032, in a battery holder, and that's now inside the case. So when it fails again, I can just replace it. But the bottom line is that every Icon 7300 out there has got a battery in it that needs to be replaced at some point. But there you go, I've done mine. Right, I'm going to make this just a single over on the net this week. There's a lot of people there. I don't really want to hog the airwaves. So I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to Benno. It's Benno, yeah, hand it over to Benno. I won't come back, but what I will be doing, I will be listening. So I'll be playing with another PC, believe it or not. But anyway, it's another story. Anyway, I'm going to hand it over to Benno. So let me, different way of doing it, 'cause I'm on a different machine. Let me put up a test card, and I shall kill my carrier, and then over to you then, Benno.
Still waiting for the test card, but apparently, yeah. Batteries in transceivers, yes. It must be dying somewhere. Apparently, they think it's a 10-year warranty or something, and after that, you're not going to use it because you should replace it. But you should replace the whole rig. But we hams tend to work 20, 30 years with the same rig. Problems. Well, for me also one over, a big list. What I wanted to show, besides I'm not going to work still on the All-Star net, but I've done a little bit hobbying, but not much this week. A lot busy with other stuff, mostly work related, but also the front yard needs a little bit attention, and I'm working on that. So, what did I do? What can I show today? Well, because I'm on air, my reception is a little bit dead, but I managed to update my my multi-rig, and what you see here is 13 SAMs 2344, a signal which is actually there. If I rotate, you can see it gets lower. If I rotate back, it goes higher again, which makes it perfect to align the antenna. And on the left side, it's not locked, but it should be. But because of my signal is on air, I'm a little bit, obviously 13 centimeters, I'm a little bit disturbing my reception, and it's just below the threshold. That is the reception of the local repeater, and I actually made this setup, which was in my head for a long time, but I made this setup during the last weekend. I did a little bit on contest, which was a first for me. I didn't much contesting on DATV yet, on ATV yet, but I kind of was pulled in somewhere, and then I found out my station, which is perfect for dedicated transmissions and for local repeater and for the satellite, is not very well for the contest state. I couldn't address my antenna, I couldn't get my I didn't know if I had a signal, so I decided to combine those two gadgets which are in the rig and combine them together. For doing that, I installed a resistor combiner, which I made myself, and I decided I needed a low LNA before that to get around the signal, lowering the signal, so I needed to have that, something in between that. And I thought to myself, I need to put an extra gain for that. This gave me a lot of extra noise, and I'm still wondering if it's better for me or if my reception is worse with an extra LNA. Obviously, a right, or especially a tuner, likes some extra signal, but even that, I wonder. I used to get better signals from the local repeater than I have over the last few weeks. But we also still have summer, autumn time, which means the trees are much with a lot of leaves, and that means also my 13 centimeter to the repeater is a little bit obstructed by this. And one other thing I got yesterday is, and I should be able to show quickly, which is this, and I got this picture from Adam, well, he's on the chat, and it was his idea of combining two tuners with Pico Whiz and some dedicated power supplies and make an easy winter hill kind of rig. And it's quite simple, but still it's interesting, and it is can I show? Yeah. So this is fun if you think about it, how simple it is to get a tuner and get a winter hill and get some local parts and just put a bunch of wires in between. And basically this is also what a Pico tuner is all about. Mike has made a nice board for it, but you actually can also use two of those boards, and I think it's even cheaper because those nasty power supplies will create a lot of noise, but also cost more than the individual regulators, which are normally on the Pico tuner board. So if you have two boards, two receivers, two winter Pico tuners, the rest of the parts is peanuts, and it's probably less than it's shown here. But it's also the proof of concept how simple a Pico tuner is, and that's the reason why I wanted to show you this. Okay, well, that's all. Only one over for me, Gary. Passing it on to Frank, over in, let me quickly see if I can, over in South Africa, GS6 Golf Echo. Frank, nice to see you back online. From Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray. Passing it on to you, and could I be persuaded to get a test card? Yes, I can. 73 is all. Have a nice week.
Good day, everybody. Good day. If I sound funny today, it's not because I'm funny, I'm having a cold. But I thought anyway, I give it a try. Sorry, excuse me. Nothing much to report here. I'm back from a holiday, amongst other things, in Scotland. And I don't want to bother you with holiday photos, but there was a bit of engineering which I found absolutely amazing. All the British guys today might know it, I suppose. But okay, for those that haven't seen it, I'll just play it. It's designed for typical canal boats. Obviously, sailing vessels will have a problem, but it's not what it was designed for. It's all a bit in slow motion. And there's a canal on top. Now that's replacing typical sluice gates, more than one. And the beauty is that no water is wasted. Like with a typical sluice gate, you lose a lot of water from top to bottom. And here I couldn't even see a leak of the bathtub, I call it. I asked the guy what these horns are for, and turns out they are just decoration to make it look snazzier and not really needed. But good, a nice design idea. And there we are. That speeds it up a bit. Yeah, okay. That's all from me today. Real nuisance this. Anyway, GHPQH. You take it.
Thank you, Frank. That is just put the. Thank you, Frank. That is
put mute the audio a bit.
Yes, thank you, Frank. I haven't seen the Falkirk wheel before. That's one hell of a lock, isn't it? Let me just transition the picture away to a picture of me. A bit disconcerting. Yes, that's one hell of a lock. I mean, the canals on the continent are much bigger than the UK ones. I wonder if they've got anything like that in Germany or somewhere. But it's an astonishing amount of water to lift on it. I haven't got any pictures of Pico tuners to show. Anything quite as interesting as what Benno was showing there. My project for this weekend has been one of Hans Summers or QRP Labs kits I had floating around, which is what's going on in the background here, which I'll turn off in a second. So this is the QDX little kit that's very familiar to a lot of people, I should think. I'm putting out a few watts there, so I'm childishly pleased with this, having sat on the shelf for best part of 18 months. I finally got around to building it, and it does appear to transmit something. So I wonder what I will build next. Let's turn this sound off. Oh, let's stop it transmitting, or we'll just keep listening to it warbling away the whole time. Ah, dearie me. There we go. Yeah, that should keep it quiet for a bit. In the week I've been talking to Martin about All-Star, so I don't know if I will bestir myself to do something with that. I have a neighbour who's very much into DMR, or he thinks he wants to be into DMR. I mean, I've never had that much time for it myself. I have a DMR radio, and I've been helping him, and I've got a hotspot somewhere. But I say an All-Star thing might be more useful. But if Mike G0MJW is listening, that was Hans Summers, not Ann Summers. Different outfit altogether. That said, I have a stag party coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and I do have to go and get some special clothing for an Oktoberfest themed event earlier next month. But I don't think I'll be going to Ann Summers to get one. But that's on my to-do list for this afternoon. So on that cheerful thought, I think I will hand it over either to Mike if he wants to come up, or if Mike doesn't come up, I think Brian G6HFS would be next after him. So let's just put up a test card, and then I'll drop carrier. Boom, boom, boom.
Good afternoon, evening. Thought I'd put myself back on, some mute sound. Good, good. Good afternoon, morning, wherever we are. Yeah, I've not been too great either, not the only one. But there we go. I've just been fiddling really. Done a couple of things. I'm not sure, been on for a few weeks, so first thing I've actually done is that going to focus? Come on. Typical. Oh, there we go. Finally got the Pluto on the Ethernet RJ45 instead of USB, so I've done that. And other thing I've been tinkering with was trying to help some with some network cabling bits and pieces, and we have no way of testing it because we've got a couple of problems. So I thought I had to tester somewhere, but I can't find it. So decided to do an experiment. There we go. If we push the power button, you should get one LED. There we go. Ooh, it's not very good focus, is it? If we, that's an open circuit. If we simulate a short on the return of RJ45, we get the other one. And of course there's a power button that controls this, so you just push it and there we go. It just switches over. Just reverse biasing a couple of LEDs through the resistors. It's nothing fancy, but got a loop back connector there. It is basically all check. You plug the loop back connector in one room and then the tester in another. Let's cut back to me. Whoops, turn it off. That's about all I've been up to really. Not a great deal of fun. And for Leo's benefit, yes, they have been out in the background, especially the big one. You can see the Ferrari. If you go that way, you can see it's named there. That's too quick, takes you by storm, that model does. There we go. So yeah, I've been while we've had some decent weekends and during the week being retired, it's handed me get up the field, so that's my excuse why I've not been on. So I'm sticking to that. So apart from that, we'll say helping son sort some problems, visiting a few people, had a phone call from a friend's wife. She told me Paul had passed away, who I'd known since we were kids, well, early mid-teens anyway, when we first started working together. Bit of a shock, same age as me. So I've got another funeral to go to. It's must be age catching us all up and things like that. Right, that's about it from me. I'll only do one over Gary today. I've got a bit of a sniffle and cold, so I won't keep it up, and I'll hand it back. So with that, I'll say good afternoon, G6HFS. ZS6YI. To you.
Okay, Brian, G6HFS, ZS6YI. Sorry to hear about your friend. I had a very similar experience to that about a month ago. We were friends since 1967. He was also a radio amateur, so it was very sad indeed. But these things happen, I'm afraid. The older you get, the lonelier you get too, eh? Right, Leon, nice on the Raycall. Pity it's not putting out decent quality audio, but I'm sure you'll sort it out in due course. And indeed, your retirement has now been messed around by having to go back to work to sort out things that they cannot sort out. But anyway, it's a bit of an income, I suppose, and also keeps you busy at your other QTH, so no problem with that. Note you might not come back, but I will give you an over in a moment. Martin, yeah, I like what you sent earlier to me. It'll be good to come on to All Stars. Nice to have a sort of a background audio channel, and that's ideal. And the quality is really good, so I'm quite interested in that. And Nick, yeah, I wouldn't throw that microphone away. I'd take a razor sharp blade to it and cut it open and get the little insert out. That's what's important. And then you can use it and make your own little cover, just using a little aluminium pipe, perhaps, and a little clip, a paper clip, or not a paper clip, one of those crocodile clips. You can clip it onto your lapel and away you go. Just put a new piece of wire on. I'm sure it's only the wire that's broken off or half broken, and that's causing the intermittent. Paul, nice signal from you, no problem. Audio good, everything's fine. And yeah, the Node Red, or what do you call it? The one that we're using at the moment, DATV Red, it works very well. It's a little bit processor hungry. I think that's what's happening to you, perhaps. And but it works very well, I must say. I'm just leaving it as it is. Phil, yeah, good to see you back. I see you won't be coming back on. And Benno, beautiful piece of equipment you built there. Really looks good, really does. Congratulations. See, you won't be coming back either. Frank, yeah, that's an amazing piece of engineering, that indeed. And thanks for showing that, sharing it with us. And I hope you get over the cold. We had a very, very short spring, maybe a week, with very high temperatures. And overnight, the temperatures dropped to around 6 degrees. And we've had unbelievable snow quite close to us, actually. I've actually, let me just see if I can bring it up, show you guys about it. That's actually, let me just see if I can bring it up, show you guys about it. That's actually, let me just see if I can bring it up, show you guys about it. That's actually, let me just see if I can bring it up, show you guys about it. Somebody sent that to me this morning. And yesterday, out of the blue, I decided to just, shall we say, on the spur of the moment, decided to take my grandson to go and show him the snow. And the roads were all blocked. When we got there, police stopped us. We couldn't go further. So they detoured me to another town, hour and a half drive away. So, oh well, we're in for a penny, in for a pound. Didn't get snow there. And then I was advised to go to yet another town called Clarence. There's always snow there. No snow. And then I decided to go to my cousin, who's a district surgeon in a place called Harrismith. But I know it was sealed off. But anyway, on the way there, we came across a tanker that had jackknife. And the police lady said to me, no, better turn back because the roads are going to be closed further down. And as we turned back about 200 meters from the tanker, there was a lovely piece of snow, a bit of the field. So I got the children to get out, and it's the first time they've ever touched snow. So they had a bit of a ball, and back in the car and all the way back home. Long story short, 600 kilometers odd traveled to show the children some snow. And I know those who grow up with snow think we're nuts. I remember when my wife's Nana came to visit South Africa, we brought her and her sister out to celebrate her 80th birthday. Coincidentally, on the very same day, South Africa won the World Cup rugby in 1995. Very same day. So I took her in the car. We were off to our venue, and the guys in the roads were going nuts because we had won the World Cup, and they were kissing the Rolls-Royce mascot, you know, the one on the bonnet, and they were waving. And I said, Nana, These are all guys saying happy birthday to you. She really thought she had royal treatment. Anyway, I'm diverting. Right, to go back to you, Frank, good signal, and I certainly hope when the new version of DATV comes out, thanks to Simon Brown, he's working very hard on that. Spoke to him the other day, actually, and it looks encouraging. I like the way he does things. Very neat, tidy, and compact. I hope Mike's back, G0MJW, because Ed's got a question to you. And yes, Ed, I laughed. I tell you, those two fellows made real monkeys out of those guests, or what do you call them, tourists. It was great. That was good. Always good jokes from your side. Brian, wish you well. I hope you also get over your sniffles and colds. Yeah, they talk about global warming, but I don't know. Geez, like it's gone the other way around. Anyway, let's see if Leon wants to have another over, and then to Martin, and so the thing goes on. ZS1 Mexico, to take it, please, if you're still there. Failing which, Martin, you pick it up from ZS6 Yankee India.
Okay. Yes, just a quick short one from me. Gary, it's not the Raycall. No, the Raycall. The Raycalls don't break. The Raycall is fine. The B25 is a Thompson. It's a French thing. It's much heavier than the Raycall, although it's much smaller. But it's in a metal case, a die-cast aluminium case. But with the automatic tuner and all that, it's a clever little radio. Same output, 25 watts and so on. I've had it for many, many years, but I never had the proper battery for it. Anyway, now there's got the 16 volts instead of 12. It sounds funny, but I'll have a look at it. Okay, quickly, Martin with the nodes, Nick with the rotator thingy, Paul, no node red, I agree. Ed, yes, nice cartoon. Very nice. Very interesting, that Libri thing that you showed the picture of. That looks like a nice piece of equipment. You must find out more about that for us. And how expensive is it? Phil, you have something funny in your audio. It's like that loose diaphragm, slight vibration sound again. You've probably got a noise gate on or something which is not working properly. But your picture and stuff is perfect. So even though it's your emergency PC, it's doing well. Benno, yeah, I can see the aeroplanes, and I can see Brian's aeroplanes. And Frank, yeah, that Falkirk wheel is that's quite something, eh? The name Falkirk you used to see in South Africa quite a bit on cast iron castings and things. I wonder whether those maybe came from Scotland then. Way back when we were a British colony, you never know. Well, there was something else I wanted to comment on. Now it slipped my mind. I didn't make a note of it. No. Oh yeah. The battery in the radio, in the ICOM radios. Beware. You're fortunate that that's just a clock battery. Some of the older ICOMs runs the whole processor, that battery. And if that goes down completely, you can chuck away the radio. They say send it back to the factory, but it's too old. I fixed one the other day for a guy. They start warning you. When you turn the frequency dial, you get all gibberish on the display. Then you know the battery is low in voltage. So there's a whole process. It's on the internet. You hook up two penlight batteries onto the terminals of that battery. It's on a plug-in module in the radio where the RAM sits. So that whole lot just unplugs with the battery. Do not remove the battery. First, jump with and solder the booster battery on there. Then you unsolder the lithium battery and solder in a new one, and then you disconnect your 2 pen lights, and then it's working fine again. But if you make a slip up and that RAM is without power for just a millisecond, it's gone. And only in the factory can they redo that for you if they still have your vintage thing. I've had it. What is this? This is a ICOM IC1271. Mine is still fine, but I read up on it that it does that. And the other day I fixed a HF ICOM for a guy, which was all funny, you know. So I said, oh yeah, I know the symptom. Let's have a look. And yes, it was that thing. So I managed to salvage. So there's a whole range of ICOMs. It's from a certain date to a certain date where they use this business of battery backed up RAM, which is very, very dangerous. You can lose your radio. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I am already 15 minutes late. 73s, everybody. See you next time. From ZS1 Mike, now going to drive 145 kilometers to the southern tip of Africa. Bye-bye, 73s.
Right, I think we've made it. I think I may have keyed up a bit too early. Apologies if I did. I can get some sound. Made it. Yep. Right. I thought I'd start off and show why I get confused. I have too many screens, I think. I have 3 screens on the one PC. And also this other little device that's monitoring is connected at the moment to the All-Star network, which is 3 stations at the moment. Myself, Mike is connected to it, and David G1DCG. But and I've moved so as I can try and keep my audio up. The things onto different screens, and it's confusing me greatly. OBS is now on the right screen, which is normally where I'm looking, and I can see that at least the audio is up. But I keep going to make adjustments and not adjusting the right things. But and to you, Gary, yeah, the Sherry, as you say on that site, I quite like that one myself, I must admit, which is the Raspberry Pi 4 and a hat on. I think that looks very neat. I know you can put a fan in the top as well. And they supply a little template so you can drill the holes in the front in the right place. Very little to do. But Tech Minds, if you look at he's got that one in particular. He shows all the details on it if you're thinking of that, so it's worth it. But as he says, the instructions that come with the kits are well worth it. So really good. That's where I'd go, I think. Having sort of played around with various setups, shall we say, but I'm quite happy. I'm going to tidy things up during the week, so as it's not quite as busy in the corner of the lounge where I am, which is again why I've got to keep things and try and keep the mic such that it doesn't pick up signals from the rest of the house. As you can see, that's the lounge, and turn around to where I am. So that's the reason. But I think I've done better this week on the audio, having sort of kept an eye up the level on the actual etc. Yeah, batteries, if you're still there, Leon, that's interesting on the ICOM. I didn't realise that. I knew there were some funnies that went on. That's disastrous. How can you... I just can't believe they designed a radio with that in mind. Not good at all, but it's good that you know what to do. And Nick, with your purchase, I missed a little bit of it, but it's really annoying when you get something that's damaged and it's been packaged up. But it sounds like the guy's been more than helpful there, which is good. And I presume that was is that for your dish arrangement to control it? I had to nip out and I must admit I nipped out and made a cup of tea, so I missed some of it. So apologies there. And Paul, yeah, I did try and help. I'm not good at a distance, I must admit, and I'm not clever enough to be able to connect to your PC and do it remotely. I know Benno would. He's got a much quicker brain than I have. Mine is very slow and getting slower each year, I think. And that wheel with the boats and such like, that's quite amazing. I'll have to Google that, I think, and have another closer look. That's very impressive. And yeah, the Ham Summers there. Yes, we all got it wrong, I think, on what was there, Frank. But yeah, you're doing well. Yeah, your pictures are so vastly improved. And yeah, I should be sticking with DATV Red anyway. You know, everyone else can drift on, but at the moment I'm quite happy with what I've got. And I've set up so many things. It does take some getting used to. And which is why I jumped in and started playing with it early on, which is what you need to do with a project. Coming in sort of later on a project, it can get somewhat more confusing. But yeah, it kept me busy and kept the brain cell going. Right, I don't think there's anything else for me to add. Good net, good to see lots of people on, and hopefully I'll hear a few more on the Talkback channel. I call it the Talkback channel. Looks like it's not going to be popular with a lot of people, so apologies there. But I'm going to use it, and I talk regularly to David, who's only just up the road and is not on DATV. But we're always active on that channel. Right, it's I think Nick to take it. I think you're still there, or if you're not, I'm confused. But we'll try you there, Nick. G4 IMO to take it, Jake KOE, with a test card and gone.
Yeah, I'm still here, Martin. Yeah, turn the volume down. Yeah, okay. That's good. Yeah, okay, on the All-Star thing, yes, that's yeah, it's an interesting project. But I have a long list of projects, I'm afraid, so it's way down the list. Excuse me. What was I going to say? Yeah, yeah, it's that heavy duty rotator thing for the camera thing. That's for the ISS project that I'm doing. That's another project, because I showed you something about 6 months ago, but it was a very lightweight system, and it was almost impossible to have any to have a potentiometers on the azimuth or the elevation, so I decided it wasn't really suitable, and you couldn't use it outside if it was windy, or if it was any rain or anything like that. It was all right, but it wasn't really suitable for what I wanted. So having picked up this heavy duty camera mount thing, I shall try and use that. We'll see, but hopefully they haven't switched it on yet. Hopefully they're going to switch it on in October. We shall see what happens. And the only thing I'm going to say about Frank, your full curve wheel, that's an interesting thing. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen pictures of that before. But how does it rotate? Is it got a great big electric motor, or is it driven by an engine? Maybe an engine. Because I was thinking, if you had a motor and you got a power failure and you were stuck halfway, you'd have to have a standby generator or something. Anyway, all very interesting. Okay, I'm going to say cheerio to everybody. Hope to see you all next week, and I've lost track who's here, but I'm going to pass it round to Paul there in Austria, if he's still there, hopefully, and I'll see everybody next time from G4IMO.
So let's see if I got some sound. So let's see. Yep, I've got sound. Oh, that's fine. Thank you very much, Nick. Yeah, Martin, sorry about that. I know it was very difficult trying to get things sorted out via email. It takes such a long time. Yeah, regarding the Falkirk wheel, Brian, Frank, that is a really fantastic piece of engineering. And yeah, Nick's quite right. What happens if you get a power cut? You get stuck in the middle, I suppose. Yes, and Brian, I can remember the Carrare. That was designed and built here in Klagenfurt, the original, from Hanno Pretner's father. I don't know whether you know Hanno Pretner. He was a world champion with the Carrare and used to train at a local flying field here. And I had the honor of visiting his workshop a couple of times. The local hospital gave him some room in the cellar, and they had a big workshop there where they developed the Carrare, as far as I can remember. I hope it was the Carrare. I think it was, yeah. Anyway, perhaps you can tell me. I think you wanted to go, perhaps you're still there. We'll see. Apart from that, this week I'm going to have another go at trying to get my DATV working on the other PC. And if it works, I'll be up on that PC next Sunday, if I'm lucky. We'll see. 73 to everyone. It's been a wonderful net. And thank you very much, Gary, for running the net. It's very enjoyable. And yes, we've got enough snow here already on the mountains. It dropped from, I think, around about 29 to 30 degrees during the day, about 20 degrees in the mornings to 6 degrees in the mornings in one day. So I know what it's like. But now we're back up again. It's about 21 outside at the moment with sunshine. Anyway, 73, and I'm going to drop carrier, and let's see who gets it. Phil or Benno, we'll see. As I said, I'm going to drop carrier. I'm just going to try putting up a test card, and then we'll see.
Nope, I'm still here, Paul. I think most of the people mentioned gone. I'm still here. I have nothing interesting to do, so I'm following closer. The next interesting thing is going to be lunch. It's 11:30 my local time here. Excellent, very nice net today, long one, very interesting information from everybody. Thank you for all the information. I'm not sure if Mike heard what my question, but anyways, some other time if he shows up, I'm gonna repeat that. Yeah, okay, well, I don't have anything else, so have everybody excellent upcoming week, and enjoy this satellite, since HF propagation is very bad. 7312, I don't know, M0 PIT I think gone, PA3 Fox Bravo X are gone, ZS6 Golf Echo gone, so I think the next one's gonna be Frank, Golf 8 Papa Quebec Hotel. Just leave a space there, Frank, if in any case of the past 3 ones decide to come up again. So 73 to all. Have a nice day. Bye.
Okay. Well, I didn't hear anything from anyone else. Just see if I've got some sound. Okay. Well, I didn't hear it. Yeah, that sounds okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. Certainly some nicer weather in Austria and possibly in Brazil than here. I was thinking about problems with DATV Red. You know, I didn't have any great problems with it actually. Admittedly, I'm asked Martin a few questions, but the problem I had was curious one of just upgrading the firmware in the Pluto, which I upgraded over the network and to the latest version from Everest, which is, I can't remember the version number, but it's the one that supports MQTT, which you need with DATV Red, and the Pluto just kept restarting, which is normally a power problem. And I took it out of the box and you know and accessed it over USB. It was still the same, and I had to put it into DFU mode and not only copy the firmware, but also another file called I think it was U-boot environment. So I've never seen that referenced anywhere when I googled for it as a problem. So maybe it was something weird that I did. But then after that it was fine. So you know that was a head scratching moment. But downloading DATV Red and running it, yeah, I mean it worked. I've really only been using it for transmit. For receive, I use the Ride receiver at the moment and a Raspberry Pi. And I think one of the advantages of DATV Red is probably integrating with receivers, and then maybe I'll reconfigure this very small shack and put a couple monitors on the PC, and then maybe I can do it all in one go. What's that beeping? It's a multimeter turning off. Anyway, very interesting net today, particularly that Falkirk wheel from Frank ZS6 GE. I'm going to go off and do some mystery shopping, and hopefully see you all next week. But have a very good week, everyone, and 7-3s. I think G0MJW might come up, so I will leave a pause for him. And just looking at the list here, oh dear, I can't remember now if Brian was going to. I think Brian is not coming up for a second over, so I guess leave a pause for Mike. Else Gary will pick it up, I should think. So 7-3s for me, and have a good week, everyone.
With the meeting he's busy with, so we shall leave it at that. Yeah, just a point of interest. I have an IC745, and that has the same problem with the battery, that if it runs down, you throw it out. But fortunately, I saw you get a RAM replacement kit, and I actually got one, but I've never put it in the rig. Never ever bothered, but I believe I'll have to do it now. And it's already been programmed, so you just plug it in, apparently, a couple of wires you solder, and the radio comes back to life. So some clever guy has done that, and you don't need a battery any longer on the IC745. Yeah, I think it was rather stupid to design it, but I think at the time that's all they had as far as RAMs are concerned, before you got those that didn't need a battery to keep the memory intact. So yeah, a bit of conversation from Ashley Booth. He was also talking about the ICOM R72 RX, I think, receiver that has the same sort of problem. Anyway, with that, I'm going to close the net. Thank you for all coming up. It's been quite an interesting net, really, and a lot of guys popping in. That's great. So thanks very much. We'll see each other next week, all being well, and have a nice and successful week. This is ZS6YI, now closing the net, throwing the ball in the air for whoever who wants to continue chatting along. 7-3, guys. All the best.